This is Real Estate Rookie show number 62. My name is Ashley Kerr, and I am here with Tony Robinson, and we are back with another rookie reply. Today, we have a Facebook question from Kaylee Driver. So Kaylee is asking, when looking for a lender, specifically 203K, what is the best, most effective way to find them? Do I need to find someone local? I'll jump right in there and I will just say right away, I've never done a 203K loan, or have I ever tried to find one. What about you, Tony?
No, I've done construction loans, but it wasn't technically a 203K loan. So, I mean, I don't have experience with that specifically either.
Yeah. So, but we can definitely answer the question just as finding a lender and questions you can ask to specifically find the 203K lender or for whatever loan you're looking for. So the first thing is I love local lenders. Like, I do think that you have more options with them, but definitely reach out to as many banks as possible and just tell them what you're trying to do. Don't even ask for a specific loan that they have. Reach out and see what they can offer you. So tell them your situation. Like, I'm looking to buy this property. I want to rehab this property, and then I want to refinance out of this property, or whatever you plan to do for your real estate investing strategy. And then let them see what they can bring to the table for you and offer you.
Yeah, you literally took the words out of my mouth. Like, I think sometimes we as investors kind of put ourselves in these boxes of, I need to do this specific type of loan, or I need to do this specific type of thing. And like my first two deals, they were both, zero down, no money out of pocket. And it was only because the bank told me that that was something they had, right? Like, I think had I gone in there and said, "Hey, I want an investment loan to do this rehab," then they would have given me something else, But I told them what my goals were, and they said, "Oh, cool, we've got this zero down thing where if you can, find the right property, then it works." So I love that advice. I think, and you've talked to me about this as well, right, Ash? Is that the local banks work really well for you, both on the residential and the commercial side. And I know I've had a lot of success on the long-term investing side with local banks as well, because they tend to have a little bit more flexibility and things like that. And I found my first bank through a referral, right? I had a family friend who went through that bank. They had a really good experience. I followed with them, and that's how I found my first one.
Yeah, so I would start with the local banks in your area. Especially start with the banks that you're already, have a relationship with, even if it's just a bank account or maybe your home mortgage is there. So start there at reaching out to those banks, and then just Google other banks in the area, and then start from there. Make phone calls, email the lenders. I mean, emailing is so easy. You can literally copy and paste what you're trying to do and then send it out to 10 different lenders in the area and see who responds quickly, see who has something to offer you. Maybe they'll want to jump on a call with you. But that's like a great starting point, is just reaching out and saying what you want to do and seeing what they have to offer. Yeah. So let's go through like a couple examples, Tony, of when we've found lenders and like different questions we've asked to get what we needed.
Yeah, I think so. What you said about just like Googling, I did that in Louisiana, which is one of my markets as well. And literally, I just made a list of I just Googled, like bank Shreveport, Louisiana, credit union Shreveport, Louisiana, and you get a long list. And, I told them, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find properties that are distressed. I need to rehab them and then get some permanent financing in place. And some said, yeah, we have this, or some said, no, we don't do that. But really just kind of walking them through. I think some of the questions that I liked to ask the most was, do you guys work with investors? Have you done these kind of transactions in the past? Just to kind of get a sense of, I guess, how well they know the world of real estate investing.
Yeah, I agree. I think just like, even if when they reach out back to you and tell you something, like maybe it's not a good fit for this property, but that's someone you can save for maybe another investment down the road too. So don't single any of these loan officers out. Like, save them, keep them in your network, keep reaching out to them, keep bringing them different deals that you want to finance too. That's important. So I'm going to give you guys like my greatest loan story ever, which was just by telling someone what I wanted to do. My partner and I had purchased or wanted to purchase a property. We had put an offer on it, and we didn't have the money yet to pay for it. So we had been using a private money lender at that point, and we kind of tapped him out, and we're like, we'll figure this out. We were pretty confident, and so we were actually working on getting lines of credit on other properties we own. So we were at the bank just like talking about doing that. And we mentioned to the loan officer this other deal that we had. And I happened to have my BiggerPockets calculator report on the deal. And was like, yeah, just like, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. And the loan officer said, well, if you want, I'll give you a loan. And I'm like, yeah, well, we don't want to like put 20% down. Like we like to buy with none of our own money. He's like, here's what I can do. I can give you a 90-day unsecured loan on the property. So no collateral at all. You two, just the personal guarantors on the loan. And then once you close on the property, I'll give you, first I'll give you a check for the exact amount you need to close. And then once you close on the property, you'll come and you'll do a 20-year fixed rate mortgage on our residential side, which was also awesome because we were an LLC. So it's very hard to find a residential lender who will do a loan, a long-term fixed rate on an LLC loan. So we ended up doing that. We paid, once we refinanced, we paid off that 90-day loan, and we had the long-term fixed rate loan with the bank. And even to sweeten the deal of that story, so we bought it for $35,000, and we got our appraisal a week after closing. We just rented it out, and we put a fridge in there, and it appraised for $55,000.
Wow.
So we were we refinanced out at like $42,000. So we put a little bit of cash back into our pockets too. But that was like my best thing because we weren't even like going to ask him about what he could offer. We were just talking about it, and like, maybe on the refinance side, they would be interested in lending, and he offered that to us. So there's so much opportunity there as to what banks can do, especially small banks. Like this bank, I think, has maybe 5 or 6 branches in total.
Ashley, I'm exceptionally disappointed that we are now like 4 or 5 months into our partnership when this is the first time I've heard the story. That's got to be like one of the best financing stories that I've ever heard. Like
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Just by happenstance, you casually mention it, and it turns into this like great opportunity for you. And you've mentioned this in the past too, right? Is that there's no downside in asking the question. Like the worst that someone can say is no. Like I think you always say like when you're talking with the seller, you always ask them, do you have any other properties? Right. Same thing in the lending space. Like if you tell them what your goals are and tell them what you're looking for, either they're going to say, yeah, we've got something to match that, or going to say, no, we don't. Then you go on to the next bank. So man, what a great story. I love that. And the fact that they gave you a residential loan as an LLC. Like I've never heard of that before. So yeah. I'm learning a lot on this call today too.
And it was awesome to have that fixed rate too for like such a long time, but it was a very high rate. So like if we had gone on the commercial side and only done a 5-year fixed rate, we probably could have at that time gotten like around a 5% interest rate, but we actually had to pay 7.35% interest for that residential fixed rate investment loan.
But it's still cash flowed, right? The deal still made sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We recently just refinanced out of that for a 10-year fixed rate on the commercial side at I think like 3.3%.
That's awesome.
Maybe so. Yeah, it's just there's so many different options.
So many, right?
And what different banks can offer.
And we didn't talk about this much, right? But I think like getting referrals from other investors is a great way to go, right? Like I'm sure if someone in your market came and said, "Hey, Ashley, here's what I'm trying to do," now you've got like an ace in your back pocket to say, "Hey, go talk to this person at this bank. Yeah. Here's what they did for me." And maybe it's not the same for everyone, right? Like maybe you've had a different relationship with that banking or with that lender, but at least go to other investors in your market, ask them what they're doing, and see if you can leverage those same relationships.
And I think it's important too when you are doing this first loan with a new bank, you don't showboat it or brag about it, but you tell them your story and that you want to keep doing this and you would love to keep lending with them. Like you'd love to keep this relationship. And when you do continue with the same bank, it's so much easier than starting fresh. Like they'll already have a ton of your information. One of the worst parts of lending for me is like all of the information they want from you and having to gather all that together. So the bank, they on the commercial side at least, every year you have to hand in your personal financial statement. They'll want a copy of your tax return. Well, they'll already have all of that information, and then you're ready to do your new loan. You just give them the property or the information on the property, and then you don't even have to put it in for yourself.
So I think to answer Kaylee's question of whether or not she's overcomplicating it, I would say yes. Right? Like it's very simple. It's not a very complicated process to go out there and find a lender. I would challenge you, Kaylee, to every day for the next 5 days, either pick up the phone or send an email out to like 3 or 4 lenders in your target market. And by the end of the week, you're gonna have so many options of loans to choose from. Your head's gonna be spinning. So it takes some time to find the right lender, but it's definitely doable.
Yeah, and they're going to want your business. Like a loan officer makes money off of, doing their job, like getting mortgages. So they're going to want your business. So definitely don't be afraid to reach out and talk to them. Especially if you're going to continue to be a real estate investor, they're gonna want to help you build your portfolio and be the ones financing and lending on that. Well, thank you guys so much for listening today. If you have more questions about lending, how to find loan officers, definitely check out the BiggerPockets forums. Ask people that are in your market, and they can definitely give you recommendations right there on the forums. So, or in the Facebook group at Real Estate Rookie. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will have a new episode on Wednesday. I'm Ashley Kerr at Wealth from Rentals, and he's Tony Robinson at Tony J. Robinson.